everyone, welcome to another cast here on YouTube. My name is Atomo and I'm joined as always by my co-commentator Calamity. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great, yeah, and after a few days of some of the lower divisions, we finally return to Division 1 with the matchup between two players we have seen quite a few times this season already, Schludy and Mr. Blue, Calamity.
Yeah, I don't actually know how. Like, I remember Schludy from. I think we've seen him in week 1. I know we've seen Mr.
At
Blue a
least
couple of
twice.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it could be an interesting matchup. Kind of always have to favor Mr. Blue considering he doesn't seem to lose. But last season, I think Pennsylvania. I'm not 100% sure anymore. I think it was his worst game of the whole season. In terms of relative position in the seed. It was either his worst or his second worst, for sure. He finished 6th in that one, which is funny in its own right that was his worst game. But if there's any place where he could be beaten, it might be in a US state.
Yeah, and he does have a perfect game, as you can see there, and twice the number of aces. I think that's going to be quite a big difference here because California is definitely a pinpointable state, unlike Pennsylvania can kind of be like, well, if you get lucky, it's pinpointable. But from most of our experience, almost every round in California is pinpointable.
The thing is, for me, because of that, I don't think it's necessarily going to be that important because if you're going to lose California, it'll not be due to pinpointing mostly. It'll be because there's one round that's just way off. So
yeah, well then that maybe if that is true, then Mr. Blue kind of loses a bit of an edge here on Schludy. Like Schludy will be able to pinpoint just as well as Mr. Blue will be able to, and then it'll come down to one round maybe where something is bad, but definitely a possibility for a tie. I could see both of these players not dropping 100 points total in the round, so definitely doable. But yeah, other than that, position-wise and record, Mr. Blue definitely has the advantage going into this one. As we take a little bit of a closer look at this map, we've already mentioned it. It's California. By Super Cabas, average score of 16,000, which after watching some of our games seems awful low for what people seem to be getting in this map, at least in the Reddit League. Has over 150,000 locations and has been played over 1,000 times. Maybe it is a new map that might have something to do with the score. A lot of people just testing out the map, not really playing it too seriously.
I mean,
so that might have something to do with it.
A lot of people are just not Reddit League players. Especially a map like California, I can totally imagine a lot of just very casual players playing that, making the score average lower.
Yeah, maybe a very interesting state, so everybody just gives it a try and doesn't come up with too much from there. But yeah, pretty much Mr. Blue going into this one, Calamity, as we've said. But I'm definitely hoping that Schludy will give us a good matchup for this one, so we have a quite enjoyable game here for you all to watch as we jump into round number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And we do start off in a urban environment. That's good.
Yeah, we see another 1-800 telephone number. I've realized that that's just like a national number, but can you explain to me? Do you know what exactly that is? Is that just
1-800 is a toll-free number.
Okay.
So if you call, and in the days of landlines where calling who called who mattered, it was a free call for you to make. So the company paid for the people who dialed, not the caller. So
yeah, so it's mostly
but nowadays it doesn't really matter. But if you use a landline, it could be relevant.
Yeah, Mr. Blue just saw something that said Sierra Nevada, which could be relevant.
Definitely could be. Now we seem to be in sort of more of a business district than a suburban one. Which could mean we have lots of phone numbers maybe available compared to a more domestic location. And again, lots of stores and some roads, but no good signs. Oh, there we go. Mr. Blue finally's got a really good sign. MLK Parkway That'll be a major road that he should be able to find on a map.
Once he knows which
Schludy's seen
cities
that.
it's in.
If he didn't, he does now. There's the State 99 route with Sacramento on it. So that'll give him a place to start looking. And he will, in fact, open that map. Schludy, with about a minute left to go, yet to see any good signs, decided to turn around and just head back. Interesting move. Just gave up on the way he was going, Calamity.
Yeah. Sometimes if you go into a direction, you think, okay, this getting out of the city here, it's getting a bit more rural. There's no signs anymore. It can be a good idea to just turn back. Depends a bit if you remember that at the start you were pretty in the middle of nowhere, and you know, like recently, you were not too far away from like a different direction that you could have gone. Then it might be a good idea not to return to the start, but just, go the same way back that you came for a bit and then turn off.
Yeah, with 30 seconds, Schludy starts to see some of those signs that Mr. Blue has seen. Mr. Blue has slowly, if you were watching his screen, moving his pin store by store as he was retracing his steps. And now he's looking to pinpoint and get that ace.
Next to the Sierra Nevada big room.
Yeah, so it looks like a brewery or some kind of factory right there. Lots of tanks. And Schludy will run out of time before he's able to get to that pinpointing stage. Mr. Blue does get that ace just on that road right off there. He didn't quite get the exact location, but close enough. And Schludy getting 4,975 points. So he was pretty close, but again, a bit behind Calamity in that one in terms of finding the information he needed to start his pinpointing.
Yeah, he just took a little bit longer to get to the road numbers. What I'm just now curious about, what I was just in the process of looking up, Chico's relatively far away from Sacramento. Because I'm pretty sure I saw on Mr. Blue's screen a 916 error code, which is the error code for Sacramento. So I was just surprised that I saw that there. So error codes can sometimes be deceiving. But yeah, both of them found the right city in the end. So I don't think the 25 points will be the decider. But obviously there, Mr. Blue still on the perfect game. Schludy isn't. So just in terms of that might be crucial.
Yeah, because even if they do come out with a draw here, Mr. Blue is still on for perfect game, and he could pick up an extra point for that to help him in his standings as we jump into round number 2 and another urban location. Very different sort of town. This is more of a downtown, old town feel than a more commercial district.
Definitely.
Lots of good flags. Looks like it's an Executor on that poster.
It says Exeter.
Exeter.
Yes.
Got a glimpse of it in my peripheral vision there, and that's about all I got.
You can see it there on Schludy's screen a bit more.
Yeah, that does look to be the name of the city.
Yep.
So they've got that bit of information. Probably too small to find, just scouring the map.
It might be. Depends. I'm pretty sure you can find it, but it's always a risk trying to go for that.
Yeah, you could end up wasting like a 30 seconds, minute trying to find it, and if you don't, then yeah. The national park sign, though, will be very good for Schludy, and he seems to want to start to look for that park on the map.
Some risky move, but
yeah, he seems to believe it's in the southern part of the state, but it doesn't appear to be. He can't find it.
Yeah.
So he will move slowly up, looking for that. And quickly decides that is not worth spending any more time on. Yeah. As in the meantime, Mr. Blue has found enough information to start to zoom in, and he does see the city in his scanning, and now he's backtracking through the town where he starts. It is really fun to watch him because like he'll literally put his pin as, his movements as he went. Like, oh, I was here, and then before that I saw this one. So I definitely recommend checking his videos out. because he does a really good job of showing not only how he finds things, but his whole process of how he does it.
There's this Schludy right on your screen. There you go.
There you go. He's got it. I think he did put the pin there right before he jumped back. So again, with about 30 seconds left, 40 seconds, they're going to be looking for the pinpointing. And here's another one of those letter streets.
Yep.
Calamity.
All around California.
Mm-hmm. It's been a very popular naming scheme a couple hundred years ago.
It's the
What
easiest
do we call
one.
the street? A? B? Yeah.
Do we
probably
have
A, B, C, and then 1, 2, 3. You know, it's like Sesame Street was designing it.
Do we have enough time, and do we want to bother thinking of names for streets? No. Okay, the alphabet it is.
Yeah, and Schludy will get the ace as well as Mr. Blue, so they still stay neck and neck after 2 rounds, Calamity. But again, not really challenging. Something that you maybe mentioned where the pinpointing isn't that important because there's so much information, it's not really that difficult to do.
Yeah, we had 2 relatively interesting rounds so far in the sense that we had 2 smaller cities. So some of the ones you might have not had in practice yet and might not be familiar with, but both of them managed to find them. So yeah, and especially with smaller cities, once you've found them, you're not going to have much difficulty pinpointing, except obviously in round 1, in Schludy's case, when you find them with like 10 seconds left.
Yeah, that's pretty much all it comes down to is can you find the information fast enough and then get on that location before time runs out. As we jump into round number 3 here, Mr. Blue is still holding on to that small 25-point lead, and we get a first suburban location, but we have a city on the side of the road, and it is Whittier, and I know where that is. So, very close to where I used to live. So, as long as it's the same Whittier, of course, it could be a name of another town somewhere.
I mean, it does say city of Whittier, so...
Yeah, but America's, most countries have names, the city names that are in more than one place, so...
Okay.
Not always unique, but it should be the same area of kind of eastern Los Angeles. And sure enough, we'll start to see some highway signs. We got the 605 here. And Schludy doing your trick, Calamity, getting on, looking for that exit information. Getting a little turned around, but you'll get there. Exit 15 on the 605, which is perfect. And Mr. Blue is doing the same. They both have found it, and it looks like Schludy doesn't quite know where the 605 is. And he'll get there eventually. He's got a minute and a half still, but Mr. Blue is much further along in his process of pinpointing.
Yeah, Schludy seems really averse to going further south.
Yeah, I don't know why. Why he would think it's so far north. And then he will find it. There we go. Yeah. And I'll start checking exit numbers. And Mr. Blue already on the right street.
Probably at this point, because the 604 isn't really that long, it might be quicker to just look for Whittier rather than checking the exit numbers.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because he almost seems to have forgot the town name he saw. If you would look for that first. In the meantime, Mr. Blue has managed to pinpoint it with relative ease with over a minute left in the round.
There it is.
There we go. So then he sees it. And now he will have to start his pinpointing. But again, wasting vital time down to the final 30 seconds before he starts his pinpointing. So.
I imagine he must have remembered some street names, because he spent a lot of time looking for street names before he even went back to the start. Which doesn't make much sense otherwise.
Looking, using some landmarks. Oh, put it back. Now he's got a pinpoint, but again, will it take it? It will. Oh, what a last second adjustment. You've got 3 minutes, Calamity, and it doesn't matter if you use 4 minutes, or you use 4 minutes 59.99 seconds.
I mean, if
right?
you've got 3 minutes, it doesn't matter if you use 4 minutes
Oh,
because you're
sorry.
not going to get very far with that.
Well,
Yeah.
2 minutes 59, right? Then you still get it. He will lose a single point, but it will mean he still stays in contention after 3 rounds, Calamity, for that draw.
Yep. Definitely still very much in it.
Yeah, but again, it'll be interesting to see if you can finally get a more rural location here.
Well, looking at where you
click
clicked that, yep, looks like a more rural location.
Well, actually, I wasn't looking yet because I was still looking at the other video. Well, now I am. And sure enough, what luck, we do finally get a location not in a city.
Luck for maybe us, maybe not for the people playing.
Yeah, I'm sure they would all have just enjoyed 4 or 5 locations right in Los Angeles or large cities. We do have the Quail Ridge Ranch.
Schludy especially, I imagine, would have enjoyed a very easy draw.
Yeah. But this is both an opportunity and a curse. Chance to maybe make points up against Mr. Blue. He can have a better round. But of course, it could always backfire if he can't find the location. And they are heading in opposite directions, Calamity. So they will see slightly different information.
I mean, they're heading east now, both of them, but I don't know if they made a different turn at some point.
Yeah, Schludy headed quite a ways south before turning east. And Mr. Blue has generally be heading northeast.
Schludy looks to be on the better road.
He does appear to be, but again, only that ranch is the only thing they can find.
And they apparently don't want to be called.
Yeah, very dry. Open. Like the road has been paved on one side and not the other. Welcome to America. Do they do that in Austria? Fix one half of the road and not the other?
Sometimes. But, you know, just when it's like really, when there's potholes or something like that, when it's really bad, then they might just, fix that part. But generally, if they redo the road itself, then they'll do both sides.
Yeah, right before I moved a couple months ago, they redid the road around my house. And I was like, now you do it. After living here for 4 years and having, crazy roads. And then the minute I move, they cleanly paved it all. Very beautiful. But with 30 seconds left, neither have seen a whole lot. Schludy deciding to put a safety pin down just to make sure that he at least gets some points, guessing towards the northern end of the state.
It's a reasonable guess.
Yeah, reasonable. Mr. Blue yet to put a pin. As I say that, of course, he will do the same. A rough guess, roughly where he is, more towards the middle of the state, actually. So they're going to be far apart. So one of them's going to get points and one of them isn't. Well, who's it going to be?
It could be straight in the middle between them.
And it was Schludy. Ooh. Schludy is a little bit closer. Neither of them really finding anything in that, unlike Radox, who apparently found lots of good information.
You can see there, Schludy was like about 500 meters away at most from a major interstate, which is a bit unlucky for him.
Yeah, he stopped just short of the 5, which probably is what Radox managed to reach.
Yep.
1,574 points for him, only 254 for Mr. Blue. That opens a 1,300 point gap, Calamity. Can definitely make for an interesting round 5.
Yeah, we'll have to see what that brings us. If we get another one like the first 2 or 3, then that might be a really bad position for Mr. Blue. But we'll see.
We'll see. And we are again in the suburbs here in round 5. And there's an Impala for Tall Impala. I wonder if that's where he lives.
I doubt it, but
No, he lives in France though. There we go. Republic Services. Maybe Mr. Blue has been studying his garbage company meta.
I doubt it, but yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I doubt it. There's an area code for Schludy, 510.
Yep.
Oh, Richmond, California on that truck for Mr. Blue, though, so that might be useful. At least it gives him somewhere to start looking.
Might be very useful, yes.
Yeah. We always worry about trucks, but I think garbage trucks maybe might be safe. I don't think they travel too far from home.
Usually not.
Like Schludy has found what he thinks is an interstate, and he wants to try to get on there. See it. And he will start looking around northwestern Los Angeles, around Beverly Hills, but I don't think that's
really sure
quite where he is. Yeah, I'm not sure why. Mr. Blue zooming in on the city of Richmond, which was on that garbage truck.
Mm-hmm.
And he does seem to be... he put his pin down. There we go. There's the actual street. As he starts to work his way backwards. Schludy, though, with no luck to get back on that road. And instead, we'll head south looking for better information.
The thing is, you probably don't even really want to be on that road anyway. I don't really think there'd be much good information to find there that you couldn't find in the city itself.
Yeah. Slowly wandering through the suburbs looking for something, hits a dead end. Well, not quite, but if he would have gone a little bit further, he would have got a dead end. And Mr. Blue will get his ace for the round, and Schludy will run right past that garbage truck as he goes back to that start location. He'll be kicking himself when he sees where Mr. Blue got his information from. He's only got 30 seconds left. Main Avenue and Southeast 20-something Street. Blew right past it.
Yep.
And with 20 seconds left, it's going to look like we're going to have a reverse of the last round. Harbor Way should be a good clue. Where's the big harbor? There we go. But still not quite in the right place. He doesn't have the information that Mr. Blue does. He will be closer to San Francisco, so he will lose quite a few points. 3,770 for him, and we're going to have to see in the total scores if that was enough to stay the lead. It's going to be really close. 20,318 for Schludy at the finish. 20,254 for Mr. Blue, so it's a draw.
It's a draw.
Calamity.
Yep.
And Mr. Blue doesn't quite complete his comeback with that ace. Schludy, that last second adjustment, just getting him enough points to get that draw. But wow, what a game. So Mr. Blue unlucky, his second draw of the season. Calamity.
I mean, you say unlucky. He had the worst score of the division and still came out of it with a draw. I wouldn't call that unlucky.
It's quite lucky, but yeah, maybe in any other time he would have dropped even more points. Managing to salvage one probably keeps him in that promotion race. Yeah, pretty much just one really off round for both of them. They couldn't find, but other than that, Schludy getting probably the better luck here, not losing the game in the last round, managing to save that draw.
Yeah, I definitely would say that that last round from Schludy was a bit lucky. As we saw, he didn't know the error code, and then just went with Harbor Way and went with San Francisco. I don't know if that's a thing. I would have thought there'd be more than one harbor in California, but yeah.
I mean, obviously you got like San Diego, Los Angeles, they all have major harbors, but maybe just going off of a hunch, thinking, hey, I've been looking around, I haven't seen anything that would give me a clue about Los Angeles. I'm seeing some things like harbor. If we're not there, give it a shot, put us in San Francisco and see what happens, and it paid off.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just get a little bit lucky. Well, thank you all for watching this matchup. I think this might be the first draw we've cast. We've had lots of draws. I don't know if we've ever actually cast one. That might be a good thing to go back to the old record books and find out.
We
But if you,
definitely have in the last season. I don't know if we have this season though. Yeah.
yeah, that's true. Last season has been a while ago. My memory, not going to go back that far. But yeah, if you enjoyed watching, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any other upcoming matches, as well as the Reddit League show we do every week to wrap up and show what happened in every division across Reddit League and in other competitions as well, from time to time. And we'll see you all next time. Take care.
Bye.